Hi there. Making my hashtag walkaway video and hoping that I can get through it this time. I've been trying to do this a couple of days and it kind of hasn't really been working out. But so I wanted to just say the reason I didn't just leave the Democratic Party. My walk away is really walk away from the liars. There's plenty of those that have the R after their name as well. So um, the year was 2000, so 18 years ago, and George W. Bush was selected, nominated, selected, self-selected, and I believe that election was total BS. I live in Florida. I'm from Florida, so the fact that my home state was the state that caused, all the craziness, and I was vehemently against that whole time period was just horrible what was going on in Florida. And so anyway, he ended up getting, taking the presidency. Then 9/11 happened. Wow, what a surprise, right? And then we invaded Iraq so that they could make all the profits that they possibly could from their war machine. And it's been going on a long time in this country, and it's what I realize now. I mean, freedom is not free. We can speak and say what we want, but when it comes to really making anything change, there's really not much that we're going to do except, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take, although I will say Trump does seem to be, obviously, you can always tell who the good guys are because they're the ones who the media is freaking out over, saying that they're, criticizing them. Now Rand Paul, who was called out Trump derangement syndrome yesterday or 2 days ago. Now he's, taking all the slings and arrows from the media. It's hilarious when you see the way that these people operate. And I was a staunch Democrat and always wanted to help out the less fortunate and thought that that was our responsibility. And I will say the real thing that woke me up to walk away from the Democratic Party, I was having a conversation with this gentleman one evening, and I said, what are we need to help, what kind of human beings are we if we don't at least help the less fortunate that, that can't help themselves? And he said to me, you're absolutely right. We should do that. And those are important values, and we should take care of the less fortunate. But it's not our federal government's job to do so. And when he said that, I said, well, why not? And he said, well, let me ask you something, Kathy. What have you ever seen our federal government do well? He pointed out a couple of things like the IRS, which I think they're probably run pretty, they used to be really bad, but you can actually reach them now, so I guess they've improved. But the VA, okay? So the VA and our suffering veterans are finally a president actually cares enough to, use his executive pen to give our guys some help and to get them the health care they need. And, it's just sad to me that people don't see Donald Trump, that what he's really trying to do is he really is trying to help America. He really is. People say that Donald Trump, the egotist, and, Donald Trump, the this or the that, and all the things. Oh, it's about the money. It's about the, he's in the billionaire club, whatever. And I just say to people that say that, I would say, let me ask you, if you're 70, almost 70, I think he's 72 now. You're almost 70 and you're a billionaire and you have a beautiful wife, a beautiful family, you have grandkids that are gorgeous. Have you seen that Luke Trump? Oh my God, he's so beautiful. Anyway, looks just like Donald. It's the cutest thing. He's got like the hair. So funny. Anyway, I love him. And I love Eric Trump. He's such a kind person. I don't know about Don Jr., but that's all right. He's got his issues. But I just, and Ivanka, come on. There's your first female president. I hope she becomes less, she's a little practiced, rehearsed. She's a little MK Ultra for me, and I'm not saying that she is an MK Ultra. I'm just saying that she seems a little MK Ultra to me. Hopefully you guys know what I mean. So, wow, I've been talking 5 minutes and I don't even know if I really made my point. I really will say when I got involved with the Democratic Party, it was, involved. I got energized and excited. It was when George W. Bush was president and they were talking about invading Iraq. And I remember saying to myself, what? Why would we go invade Iraq? That makes zero sense. 17 of the 19 hijackers were Saudis. So the fact that we're going to go into Iraq, and I just said, this is Bush's personal war, He didn't like the way the guy treated his dad. He felt like his dad didn't finish the job. He didn't take Saddam Hussein out. And, I think it was all probably planned. I think every president has been planned. Obama came out of literally nowhere. This guy, a one-term senator, a community activist, and he goes to become president because Oprah Winfrey liked him. Let's face it. She had a lot of pull. It's the craziest thing. But, the funniest part of this whole past election to me was they were so sure that Hillary would win. They were so sure Hillary would win. And I just remember watching it thinking, how are these numbers possibly correct? How is it possible that, am I the only person that likes Donald Trump? I was driving around my neighborhood and I'd see, Trump, Trump Pence signs and Make America Great Again and all that stuff. And I went to a rally in West Palm. It was awesome. There were thousands of people there. Gosh, it was so exciting. And it reminded me of when I was first into politics, which was George W. Bush was president. They were going to invade Iraq. And I just couldn't believe it. I said, we cannot do this. This is horrible. Why are we going to do this? We're never going to nation build in the Middle East. It's insane. Even, it was so obvious. And I think it was so obvious to so many people. And yet, my husband is a former Navy, and he was in the Navy he was on nuclear submarines, and he was in the Navy for 8 years, and he got out. He got out before the 9/11, but I just think about if he were serving at the time that George W. Bush was president, and not necessarily on a nuclear submarine, so that's he wouldn't necessarily have been in danger's way, but our Marines and our all these guys that lost their lives, and all these people that gave their lives, they really died for what? For fucking Bush and Cheney? That just breaks my heart to no end. And honestly, if I didn't have faith in the Lord and Jesus, I don't think I could handle it. I probably would lose it, because I know and believe that justice will eventually be served, and that'll be on all of us, myself included. We have to give an account. We have to answer for our life, and it does matter. And mass murder. That's what I think 9/11 was. They knew about it at the very least. Oh, what? Now I'm a Satanist, right? Because people talk with their hands. Donald Trump. I'm not a Satanist, and he does this thing too. He's always holding his hands like this, and I just think he's comfortable. I don't know. It freaks me out a little bit, this whole freaking hand signal stuff. But not a Satanist, just so you know. Not a Luciferian, and I don't eat babies, and I don't drink blood, and I don't involve myself in satanic rituals. Which is, guys, I hate to burst your bubble, but that's what we had going on. That's what we had going on. And I'm not saying that Obama is a Satanist necessarily, or that Michelle Obama is a man necessarily. I mean, I know all this sounds like crazy stuff, but anyway, I really wish I could become more concise in explaining why I left the Democratic Party, but let me see if I can go try one more time. So, George W. Bush was president. We were about to invade Iraq, and there was only one person that I could see that was making any sense in talking about how we should not be doing that. We should not go into Iraq, and his name's Howard Dean. And Howard Dean was running on the Democratic ticket in the primaries, and Howard Dean was, I went to the AFL-CIO speech down in Miami Beach Convention Center and saw all of the candidates speak. We got pictures with Al Sharpton and a picture with Howard Dean. Let's see, who else? You know, who cares? They're these people. But Howard Dean literally was speaking to me. He was saying things that made sense. And also, he went to Yale and became a physician. He was governor of Vermont. Bernie Sanders fans, anyone? Anyway, and he had already given all of the legal rights to the people in the state of Vermont for, they didn't call it gay marriage, they called it civil unions. And they allowed people to have the same homosexual people to have the same basically legal rights as married couples, but they didn't call it marriage, they called it civil unions. So anyway, it just seemed like it was making a lot of sense to me to, you know, to be a no-nonsense, freedom-loving, not war-mongering guy. And he also was talking about how he wanted to, he was a physician, and he wanted to, you know, he would just say, it was like part of his stump speech, why is it that in the richest nation in the world, we cannot have health care for everyone like they do? And, you know, he rattled off all the countries. Of course, if you guys want to be taxed, you know, 60%, sure. I mean, that's the truth. That's what it would take probably for us to have true universal health care and for them to actually administer it. They'd probably have to tax us at like at least half of our income. So to think that, you know, anything is free, I just want you guys to realize this. Nothing is free. Nothing. Someone pays. Someone pays. So either it's a taxpayer that pays or it's you that pays. So I prefer to use my money the way I want to direct it and not let the government screw up, because they pretty much screw up a lot of stuff, in my opinion. So why am I going to give them more of my money? So that's why I finally just saw the light and I became a conservative. Now, when I say a conservative, that doesn't mean I became a party line towing Republican, because I still hold to the fact that George W. Bush is the worst president in history. I don't know every single president, but in my lifetime, let's say. And what he did, and Dick Cheney, and what those people did, you know, at the very least, they knew about 9/11 and allowed it to happen. There's a lot of research that says that they were in on it. And, you know, this Bob Mueller guy, he was the head of the FBI at that time. So it's amazing to me how the left, you know, the Trump derangement center, the left has truly gone insane. Reason is, you can't even have conversations. I had to, I've had to block a particular friend of mine who lives in California, who I totally adore, but I mean, he won't stop calling me Hitler. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm a white supremacist because I voted for Trump. It literally is, I can tell when people have it. I say, oh, they've got TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. It's so obvious because they hate him, they call him a racist, they pretty much sound like, you know, They sound like, everyone on CNN or MSNBC or any network except Fox. And even Fox is, Fox does criticize the president, but Fox, I used to never watch Fox. I couldn't stand Fox, especially when Bush was president. But actually, I think that Donald Trump is the best thing that ever happened to Fox News, and they know it. They definitely know it. They should know it. Because their viewership, because the president, he's a real guy, he's a real person, and he hasn't taken their oaths. He's not involved in the secret societies. He was the guy that would go to the party first and leave early. That was one thing that they were talking about. They showed him, Donald Trump, Studio 66 or whatever that was in New York, and he and Ivana, he was married to Ivana at that time. And they'd show up early, make an appearance, say hi, and then leave. He was never one. He doesn't drink alcohol, which I think he's never ever had alcohol. Can you imagine? Our president has never had a sip of alcohol, and yet he owns one of the most luxurious and prestigious vineyards in the world. And so I just have a lot of respect, not because he owns vineyards, but just because he is. He's just like no one we've ever seen. So, but I really say we'll see, because now Tony Podesta got a limited immunity deal, and if you guys have done any research on the Podestas, you know that the last thing those people deserve is an immunity deal. And Hillary Clinton, I mean, I was hoping that I was going to get to watch her go to jail. I was hoping that we were going to get to see the perp walk, and now I realize that I don't even know if forget going to jail. They say she's going to run again. She's going to run again. I'm mystified by this woman. Eventually, her witchiness is going to it's going to come out. I've never seen anyone so incapable of seeing how they need to just change careers, Like, people change careers in life. Like Hillary, go bake a pie. Go create a line of handbags. Go do something funny. Like, do a line of, pathetic stuff that people will buy into. But don't run for president. I can't stand the sound of her voice and you can tell, you can discern people, who they are inside, if you really pay attention. And I just think that, you know what, as a Christian, I'm just going to say, I just pray for Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. I really do. Because those people, they're just not good people. And, but everybody could still come to the Lord. Everybody. Everyone can come to Jesus. It's so beautiful. So I love America. I am not a Democrat anymore. And I think you should hashtag walk away. Walk away from the lies. Did you guys see Whoopi Goldberg on The View? Oh my God. She's got TDS like I've never seen. But John Brennan, the guy's lost his mind. All right, guys. Hopefully that sort of sums it up. I didn't explain that one quick thing. Howard Dean was my candidate in 2002. 9/11 had happened. He was saying we should not go into Iraq. We had not gone into Iraq yet. 2003, he did go into Iraq. Once I guess they did it before even his second term, but I'm surprised and then everyone's like, oh, well, now that we're at war, he's got to stay in office, which I never understood. Ever. Like, why? Let's pull him out of office and get our guys back and prevent the deaths of these people. Ugh. But you know what? People will have to answer for every single thing they do. So I just pray for America. We gotta pray for our president. And anyway, I think that's plenty. Hopefully that was worth listening to.